Now presenting Mr. Mike Coyne, Governor's Hurricane Conference Board member representing the National Weather Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next award is the Tropical Meteorology Award. It's presented to an individual or organization that has made outstanding or substantial contributions to the advancement and knowledge, application, or understanding of the hurricane forecasting and warning process in the state of Florida. Since 2004, Mr. Mike Boylan has been educating people about trends, model runs, and everything else tropical weather related through his website. He does not forecast, but his dedication and contributions to the citizens of Florida and providing tropical weather information in layman's terms, helping to explain what the forecast trends mean and how to follow all the extensive maps, charts, and graphs located on his website, Mike's weather page, aka spaghettymodels.com. The 2021 Tropical Meteorology Award goes to Mike Boylan of Mike's weather page.
Just click on Mike's page, from Doggy Nation. Well, there'll always be some haters. They don't understand. Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. And he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here in Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right, look at that. 18 seconds to spare. Everything's working. I have not messed anything up yet today. Usually I mess up things in threes. But I spoke too soon. I'm sure something's going to mess up. So anyway, how's everybody doing? Monday morning, kids off to school. Pinellas County is. Kind of tough. Tough to remembering yesterday when we had Sarah, Helen Ellis Hospital, and here she is in 11th grade, looking all grown up. Crazy. You all remember when she was born, right? We've shared a lot of years together here on our little daily brew, so she's our little girl. Everybody's watched her grow up, so she's excited. She really loves school. School's great for her. Shout out to Pinellas County school system. They've been wonderful to our kids, and especially Sarah. And we'll be excited when she comes home. She'll be a little tired. Yeah, everybody. It's funny, Brandy, right? You get a little sad. It's crazy. Been a rough couple months, man. Mom passed, Hunter passed, Emily's moved off to school. It's just me and you, man. Me and you, Louie. The OGs. Oh my God, what a week. So we're going to be talking about the tropics right now. Nothing to stress about unless you are in Bermuda. Everybody else should just be casually watching the progression of Invest 97. And we will get into all that. Hey, Bobby. Morning, Ann. Got Miss Shelley's wedding anniversary today. 20 years for Shelley. I can't believe anybody would put up with you for 20 years, Shelley. Ah! You know I'm just kidding. Of course I am. Let me get an LOL, please. Come on, where's the LOL, please? There you go. All right. I'm kind of a jerk a lot. I'm very hard on my kids, and hopefully it raises them upright. I was a little hard on Sarah this Saturday night, but she did fine. She lost her phone, and I tried to explain to her how important it was for her to know where she had her phone and to not shut down sometimes when she doesn't want to hear it. And she didn't. She got up and started looking for it, but then on the way by these folks eating, she kind of screamed a little bit like she does. But she at least listened and went looking for her phone, and she didn't shut down. So I was like, yes. But I had to use a little tough love on her. But so anyway, we'll say hi for a few minutes. We got Emily all moved in. It went great. We got to watch the Bucks. They look pretty good. NASCAR race I didn't watch. Guess the same dude won again. A lot of people hate that. I don't know. I haven't really watched it, so Rays didn't look too hot, right, Eric? I think I do remember that one too, Shelly. Yeah, well, Sarah lost hers on the cruise too, and they found it. This was at Whiskey Wings. I'm like, how could you lose it? So, Brian Summers, what's up, man? I like your name. I always liked summer. My mom's birthday was June 21st, so I always remember that as the first day of summer. We did have Finder Phone. That helped a lot. We kind of knew. We were over there looking in the bushes, and it was funny. Everybody there, we had like a scavenger hunt for 4 or 5 of us with our phones on with lights, kind of like looking around the ground. I was on my hands and knees. So, that's VJ. There you go. He's great, man. I just wish he'd do good on oval, man. Then that way, it'll come. So, good morning, Teresa. Javier, good morning. Yeah, we had a lot of flooding. We're going to talk about that, man. Holy moly. I definitely going to talk about the rain, so we'll talk about that first. Morning, Palmetto, Daniel. Oh, man. Bucks look pretty good, yes. I just hate the second, third string. You just don't know what they're going to do when time comes around. So, Susan from Jacksonville, morning. Going to get some waves. Heck yeah. We're going to talk about it. Cannot believe it's almost September. But I really appreciate it. Shared some good posts this weekend trying to make sense of the hurricane season, trying to reason with hurricane season. Did you get that rain last night? We did find a phone. Yes, Lisa. One of the waitresses there helped us a lot, so we thank her for that. All right, buddy, I'm going to let you down, okay? I'll bet your brother comes over here in a second. You want to wear the Nutshell hat? Is anybody watching me on TikTok? That's my Nutshell hat. Now he'll sit there because he's a trained professional. I got Longo sitting now. These are nuts, by the way. See, nuts. Weather in a nutshell. Hey, Beth. Countryside, man, I remember hanging out. I remember my mom dumped me off at Countryside Mall back in the day. But anybody remember that? Mom's taking you to the mall. Mom's taking you to the mall. Well, Robin, thank you. TikTok. Hey, Pinellas Podcast, what's up? Looking forward to hanging out with you and doing a little show. When did you start that Pinellas Podcast? How long have you been around, man? I like your setup. Man, if I didn't have a couple drinks last night, I would have went down there looking at flooding. So I knew my buddy Jonathan was down there filming. I shared the link that Jonathan had. He had some coverage of our Pinellas County flooding that was pretty rough. We had a lot of cars stranded last night. But it was eggs. It was an amazing Amazon find. That's for sure. Chiefland. Oh, I love Chiefland. I drive through there all the time. Niceville. All right. So, hey, we got our brew crew. So we're streaming to you live here. Let's do a couple quickie hellos and thank our good friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits for sponsoring our little weather page now going on, I think 7 years. I can't remember 6 or 7, but here we are, man. They're a great family now, friends of mine, and hopefully all the Floridians here support them because they support us. Looks like Daytona is going to be okay. And we'll be stopping at ABC, you know it, as we head over to the Speedway next week. So hopefully there's not a lot going on in the weather world. So we're streaming live on Facebook. Hello, where it all began. X, YouTube, and our MWP chat, our diehard brew crew. So welcome everybody. Coming up here, I'm going to talk about our little meet and greet here coming up. I thought this would be a cool little graphic to show, since usually school started around the telethon time. Who grew up watching Jerry Lewis? As a kid, growing up, was this not an American tradition of watching the telethon when school started? My dad, I think, one time volunteered. They had a ring of phones. Does anybody remember that? They had a line of people with phones that had strings on them. And my dad took me down there one time for all the donations. But it was an American tradition, man, watching the telethon, man. And that usually meant two things. Hurricane season is on our doorstep as far as memorable ones, and school starting. So cheers to the good old days. All right, we got a little fun meet and greet coming up here at the end of the month. So we do have the second year of Spaghetti Model IPA being produced from our good friends at Tampa Bay Brewing Company. We got a little tribute to Hunter on the can. We got an airplane on the can. We got the same cool looking design with spaghetti models. It's the same flavor, which was amazing. It was 8% plus West Coast IPA. But if you live in our little area here, it's free. Come hang out, buy a 4-pack, and say hey to the dogs and the family and all our good close friends. It'll be happening 5 to 7 at West Chase in Oldsmar here, right by my house. A skip away. There's the website. So I got a bunch of things posted here. Let's look at the radar while we kind of start rolling here. That's the current radar. We got some flooding rains in the Carolinas today. And we got this blob. Talked about the blob yesterday morning. What is this thing? It is definitely leftover frontal line. But man, we had some serious weather yesterday. It started down in Lee County and Collier County, Pinellas County last night, and now we have an excessive outlook. We didn't have any flooding outlooks for our area yesterday. So how did that happen? I don't know. It is a cool tribute, Trish. Hunter's name was Hurricane Hunter, and we even had that was one of the cans. It's a coaster now, but that was one of the cans. This will be his third beer. What other dog has had 3 beers? 4? No, 3, because he wasn't on the first IPA, but appreciate that. So anyway, this is what the current radar looks like. It's an old frontal line. Thought we might see something a little, not named, but at least some mention, but we didn't even get that, but that's all right. The effects were the same. Here's the current outlook today. So we do have yellow. Yesterday we didn't have yellow, but we had double-digit rain, Sanibel. I got a graphic to show you. Flooding in Pinellas. Flooding along the Carolinas again, and even Georgia, and Brunswick, and Savannah had a lot of rain yesterday. This front has stuck around literally for a week plus. I mean, come on. As we get closer talking to the tropics, this front wasn't expected to hang out so long, and that was expected to build that Bermuda high even stronger, allowing this Invest 97 to potentially come westbound. But because this front's hanging out, we got another front coming in. We got all kinds of chaos in the Atlantic. I remember a couple years ago we had this. We had little lows here, there, everywhere. And we never had an established high pressure. Some of y'all chime in. There's a lot of smart people in the chat, a lot smarter than me. But there's been years where the Bermuda high was not able to set up as a full Bermuda high because we've had all these incoming fronts and lows and lingering mid-levels and this and that, causing a lot of recurs. And that's kind of where we're at. So that's excessive outlooks today. We could see some flooding in the Panhandle and the coastal Carolinas. Here's what the blob looked like yesterday. Yes, I'm hyping a blob. It was amazing. My goodness, it brought crazy rains. It looked pretty impressive on satellite yesterday morning. Sanibel had a record 13-hour rainfall, almost 12 inches. Sanibel winning the totals. The Lee County barrier islands had a double digits. A lot of places 6, 7, 8, 9 inches there. yesterday. Here's that setup that I was talking about yesterday. So it was like yesterday, obviously, I posted a lot. I was enjoying my Sunday and posting a lot of weather cool stuff. These are the old school graphics. I know Bobby over there loves them. These are what I first started looking back in 2004. Steering currents showed a little bit of north tug on our little blob. We had light wind shear. We had a little bit of low level spin. We had a little bit of light shear. That's kind of what that post was about. Like, hey, it might have had a little opportunity to try to spin. It didn't. The Euro was actually showing a little tropical depression chances as this neared the coast today and tomorrow. So, hey, who knows? But it's not mentioned by the National Hurricane Center, so don't worry about it. But it did have a little bit of low-level circulation to it, I just want to point out. So, not making it up. Now, looking at it today, just a little bump. You know, that's where we're at. This is all that juice kind of going that direction. This is the wind flow, low-level winds. Unorganized systems follow low-level winds, and there you go. So that's kind of what's happening. And then there's our flow off the Atlantic for the Carolinas, fueling the storms over that way too. So all this leftover lingering front is just juicing things up. Tropics talking time. Tropics talking. Sloppy Bobby. Blast from the past. The dust, Tracy, is a great question. I'm going to talk about that. That's really interesting. Dust map. We can get into that. Oh, that's interesting. Somebody says Sanibel's, it's going to help some of that salt intrusion. I never thought about that. Sanibel was one of the hardest hit spots from Hurricane Ian, by the way. So, and not to say ironically, but the same thing yesterday in Pinellas County. A lot of street flooding yesterday in the same areas that got hit with Helene. We're dealing with some pretty big floods. There was a lot of cars stranded yesterday in Pinellas County. Camden, no big storm off the coast of Florida, just rains heading to the north. Milwaukee's flooding. Javier, yes, I didn't really get to cover that too much. So much stuff in the weather world, man, and I wish I could cover it all. And, one thing you got to remember, I'm a one-man band. Like, I started posting yesterday at 5 in the morning, and, I got to sleep sometimes. So sometimes these late-night weather events like what happened in Pinellas, I would love to have continued talking, but eventually you got to shut down. And here we go. Yeah, the models showed heavy rains yesterday, Ryan. It was a tricky setup, but the satellite told it all. There was a lot of juice in the air, more than anything. And I guess it's kind of frustrating is we've had 2 orange spots now dwindle away to nothing, and I just don't understand what brings the circle, Not wish casting, just thought it would have had a circle, that's all. We got a new little spot that popped up here, interesting. I don't even know what this is. It's just another low pressure mingling. This old Invest 96 obviously is not going to develop. It's staying east of Bermuda. And then we're going to talk about the red area. So yesterday we had a red snake like that, remember? Well, that was the area that they thought it could develop in. Well, now they've lowered that circle. This is a very tricky thing because it's not a track. This is where they think anything might develop. And it's at 90%. There's a chance at 11 it might be developed. It's got a close low. There's convection really popping. So we could see 11 o'clock designation of our system. That's usually when they do it, 11 or 5. So we'll see. That's Invest 97. So that's what we're going to talk about. Invest 97. Here's what it looks like. We got some swirlage. We got the Cape Verde Islands. They got some bad flooding last night. Apparently there were some fatalities. A lot of rain. It's very rare for them to get a tropical system. Most of the time they go to the south, right? Oh, the new spot's from the old spot. There you go, Bobby. Didn't even think about that. You're right. That was the old spot that never materialized. A bunch of slop this year. Sloppy systems. Sloppy rainmaker systems. Not taking away the effects of rain, that's for sure. Exactly, Javier, exactly. Another weakness in that high pressure. Then we got a front coming down. So all this stuff is making it more confidence that we're going to see a recurve, okay? Which I don't understand the word recurve. I say it because they all say it. A curve is a curve. It never curved to begin with. A recurve would be like what's a boomerang when it comes back at you? Maybe we could just come up with our new word that Invest 97 is going to boomerang. But in seriousness, we do have 63,000 people in Bermuda, and if this ends up being a Bermuda storm, then I will be covering it because we actually have paid supporters from Bermuda. The Bermuda government has reached out in the past and uses the website. So I will continue to cover this storm because it's not just Floridians that watch Mike's weather page. A lot of them. And yeah, I went off this, and it makes a lot of sense. And, I consider the people that watch our Brew Crew like family. Most of y'all are. And so I can sometimes share feelings a little bit more and stuff. But I analyze something a lot, okay? I'm great friends with Dennis and Paul and Matt. And I'll read comments over there where people will bash me because of things. Well, their level of I'll say the word hype, their level of discussion on a system definitely dwindled. Listen to this now. This makes a lot of sense, okay? And then this, maybe one day if you see somebody doing this, you can come to my rescue. But their seriousness goes down on a system when it's least likely to impact our Tampa Bay market, because they're Tampa Bay market Mets, okay? Dennis isn't going to have 24/7 coverage of a Cat 4 hitting somebody else like I am. And I think people think because I'm still talking about it, they think because Tampa didn't get it that I'm hyping it, if that makes sense. And to me, it makes a lot of sense. And I think that's where a lot of folks just assume I'm a Tampa Bay guy. And why am I going to talk? If this becomes a Bermuda fish storm and I'm still talking about it, people that don't know are going to think I'm hyping because they're going to be, well, it's not even coming to Tampa. Why is he hyping this thing? And that's where I think a lot of this comes from. They forget that I still cover other areas. I mean, heck, Shelley, remember we had the Turks and Caicos one time have a government meeting with our site on big screens watching me. So, a little tidbit. But anyway, that's what we got. A lot of dry air out there, but it's got swirl, it's got spinach, it's got a little bit of, got a little comma look to it. Little convection. There's, it's got a little window now, but then it's going to have a rough road as it heads westward. But we'll see what they say. There's a little ball. It's kind of independent now. It's broke off as expected. Now it's its own little entity. But we'll see. So the interesting thing is the amount of dusty, dry air in this system. Lots of it. Reds and whites and just dry air, yellow and dust. And so that's incredible that it's going to push through all this. Maybe it won't, but it's got moisture to the south, but as we just saw, it's kind of breaking off a little bit, so it might lose that pull of moisture from the south side. So we'll see what it does here. It's expected to strengthen once it clears all this stuff, so it'll be an interesting couple of days to watch what it can do with all this dusty, dry air. Not really sure what this bottom structure looks like. I haven't looked at ASCAT scans, but they're usually pretty close to satellite imagery. Here's 1,000. Let's look at 850. You'll see a little bit of defined low, not much. Not much at all in that. A little bit there trying to show up. Not looking that great actually at all. That's not it down here, by the way. I'm laughing because I'm thinking back to yesterday's Gulf system having actually looked like it had a little more spin than this does. But this, I don't know. It's got convection, but I don't know about much of a circulation. I'm sure there's some passes out that way. There's broad, low spin on the 850. Woo, just had a coffee moment. Ugh. And there's 500 spin. You get a lot of this spin because of the intertropics convergence zone. And actually, talking about the intertropics convergence zone, it's kind of set back up again. It wasn't there a couple days ago. But we're starting to see that a little bit. So Curiosity, that little spot there, is ahead of the islands. And probably shouldn't have took my damn medicine on an empty stomach. There's Invest 897, by the way. So it's independent. There's the islands. But what's interesting is the area below it has a little bit of spin too. Not that it's marked, nothing, but this little setup right here actually, ironically, has a little bit more spin than our Invest 97 does. But anyway, that's what they're watching. Look at that big old blob coming out there. Wow, interesting. Okay, there you go. All right, let's look at some models and stuff. So we got rid of that. Here's the latest spaghetti models on Tropical Tidbits. We'll do drum roll. This was 6Z. Here is 12Z. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Boo! All right, look at that. High confidence. Now there's Bermuda. We're going to be watching close for Bermuda, but there's a lot of curving. A lot of curving. Hard to go against the trends. Oh, God. Spinach. Yeah, who was that? Thank you, Southern Girl KC. I'm not worried about it. People just, they don't read the words. I'm over it. Don't care. Hey, great, Marcos. Great question. The invest is always a tricky little question. This, by the way, we're looking at the latest spaghetti models on TropicalTidbits.com. They come out every 6 hours. 12Zs come out around 9:30ish, 9:15ish Eastern. So every year when the tropical season starts, the first area that's being watched is an investigational area. So they start at 90, they go to 99, and then it goes back to 90. There's really no reason. The next storm that'll be watched will be 98. But when they designate it an invest, it gets interesting because then you get a plethora of models. You get your higher resolution hurricane models like HASS, HMON, HWRF. We get a bunch of spaghetti models because now there's an estimated center. So an invest kind of kickstarts tropical tracking on the system. And then, like I said, the next one will be 98. 99, and then it goes back to 0. 90, I mean, not 0, 90. 90, that's just a number. It makes no sense. Bobby will remember we had an Invest 99 years ago. I don't remember which storm that was, but it ended up being one. Holy moly, that was a spam right there. What was all that? What was all those letters, Shelly? Probably you can only see them. So anyway. Plethora. That's a good word. It's a plethora. Julie, hey, well, we've been here. Don't just come on hurricane season. We actually talk 3 times a week and have a good little time. Our brew crew's over there chatting away. They don't even listen to me. They're just having their own little conversation over there. Right, Phil? Anyway, Tim. Yep, there you go, Tim. Yep, hope I answered it. Makes sense, right? All right, so there you go. Look at that bend at the end. Now, one little trick about Tropical Tidbits, which is cool, is the timestamps. I don't think a lot of folks realize there's 24, 48, 72, 96, 120, 144, and then 168. So that's obviously 24 hours from now when they run. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. They go out 7 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. I have a problem with my cache on my phone, Shelly. I don't know what I got to do. Like this morning, I posted the spaghetti models and I downloaded it, but it cached the old image in the phone. So I got to figure out how a way to turn off caching. But 7 days out, there you go. So if you are in Bermuda, then I posted early next week. It looks like we might start to see this getting close to you. Okay, that would be 7 days out. So you'd start seeing it out of bands on Sunday. So if you like to see consistency with models, models can change, weather patterns can change, but when you see tight clustering of spaghetti models without a lot of outliers, the upper air patterns are very stable enough that the models all agree on the upper air patterns down the road. And little discussions, I saw this morning, and I've changed a lot over the years. I used to stress a lot about where the actual center is versus what let's say this is where the NHC is. Let's say though that online or on, it might appear here. You would think all the models would shift with that new low level that's showing up. Okay. But really what I've learned is, and then of course Shelly sends me a text. I didn't need it now. Go to Rusty's, have some shrimp. Not until I'm done with live, though. So think about this little tidbit that I've learned. The models aren't going to adjust back down. You know why? Because the models are more than anything looking at upper level wind steering, and eventually that'll catch up to that. The systems seem like they react, little wiggles and wobbles, but the upper air steering is the most important thing the longer down the line you go. Does that make sense? So that's where we're at with that. Let's show you all kinds of other stuff. All right, so intensity models also on tropicaltidbits.com. Pretty much they're all pointing upwards. So, it looks like we'll have a hurricane eventually. I honestly, it doesn't have a tight spin to it right now. So I'm not as 100% convinced what it's going to do coming across all that dust, right? Does anybody agree with me? I mean, it looks terrible structurally. I mean, it's a blob. We had a blob yesterday in Florida. So it'll be an interesting couple days to see how it actually handles all that dry air, if it runs out of moisture or not. But most every model is predicting this thing to increase down the road. Here are your latest GFS ensembles. Now, these are cool. These are on weathernerds.org. What's neat about his graphics is look at the color. If you're colorblind, apologize. Lacey, you didn't get the notification. Well, you need to set your Alexa like I did years ago, 9:19 Eastern. Julie made me my annual heart. This is the only love letter that I ever get every year. It's Sarah's bus schedule. And the story of 919 was the bus schedule used to be in the 9 o'clock hour. Now it's in the 6 o'clock hour. A lot of wind shear, Robin. Correct. Yeah, it just doesn't look that great. Chris Argus, yeah, they had a big pocket out there of no steering winds. You remember, we were talking about this is a dead zone of winds, and it kind of naturally followed the jet stream and went to the northwest. But anyway, these colors are cool. Not cool if you're dealing with a hurricane, but they show you consistency and the idea that it's going to intensify. Red's a hurricane. So you can see they're not expecting anything in the short term. It's what it does down here. And we do have a couple outliers. So what are outliers? So first off, this is the GFS, and there's 31 brains of the GFS. 31. The black line here is the mean average of those 31. So 31 are different weather variables that are punched into the computer, and some say we might have a high, it might be a weak high, it might be a stronger high, bigger high here, who knows? It's just, and what it does is it just averages them out and puts them all right there. But the outliers are different ones, that might say, the high pressure is going to build a little bigger, might drive our system a little more west. High pressure might build a little stronger and push our system a little west. So there's 3 or 4 outliers. That's why you never say anything is 100% in the tropics, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit about my Irma post yesterday that really got me going. That's the one that really got me upset. Shouldn't have let me get it upset, but it did. Because we've had past storms in the past. Now, modeling is hopefully better, but I don't think it is. Honestly, this year the models have been terrible in my opinion. So we're kind of in the same boat we were 5 years ago, I think. I don't know. Modeling, I think, was better back then. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm wrong. But Florence was expected to recurve, and it didn't. Irma was expected to curve, and it didn't. So that's kind of where I was getting at about, we watch these things, and confidence gets better every day. We're planning on going to Daytona. I'm still, watching close. I ordered the pool yesterday, though. I'm one day closer to not worrying about our Daytona trip, selfishly. All right, so there's those, the latest Euro ensembles. Kind of the same thinking, right? I'm going to show you the Euro AI. This is the latest Euro. So we see a common theme there, right? That's what you want to see, is if you want to see some sort of a confidence booster. Like I said last week, the 15 days, we had a lot of operational runs. Do you remember? Somebody please say they remember. The operational runs were spitting off storms doing this, but yet all the ensembles were doing that. So it's really not normal to see an operational run go against its members. And the Euro has 51 of these little brains. And you can see the black center line. It's kind of the average of all of those. And there you go. And remember last year with Barrel, we talked about Barrel last year. Barrel was an interesting learning experience for even me, because we had some ensembles that were really predicting Barrel to not make it. And what we ended up seeing, where this is what happened last year. So last year we had a lot of ensembles doing that, right? And we also had a lot of them doing that, right? This outcome seemed likely because of other factors like operational runs and steering and this and that, getting stronger, going north. Did they just name it? I don't know. Did they just name it? Maybe they just named it. Show you the breaking news. Well, if they did, they did. But here's what happened with the ensembles last year. So the mean average was doing this, right? Does that make sense? That's what the mean average was doing last year. And why did I fly to Texas? Well, because these down here were skewing the mean average. You take these out of the equation, guess what? It did what it did. So the mean average could be tricky, is what I'm getting at, if you have a couple outliers that skew things. It just complicates things even more. Google AI. Oh, North Coast likely named it. Okay, cool. Good point, Tim. I like that point. Thank you. No, not tropical storm yet. I think the word. Actually, I have a secret link here. Let me show you. No, let me get back on topic here. Oh no, I'm not. So I got a new link here. I think it's number 4. Nope. So I had an email the other day, Bobby. The reason I keep talking to Bobby is she started her website in 2004, Hurricane Harbor, and she lives on X and Twitter, and we share a lot of the same thoughts sometimes. But we used to use this map a lot, and then it went away for a couple years, and now it's back. So I relinked it. It's number 4 on the secret links on the top of my page. Okay, but the one I wanted was number 3. Nope, no, I didn't. I wanted number 5. There it is, number 5. This is the old. This is usually the raw data from a storm, and kind of gives you a hint of what they're going to do. And I don't know. Well, I don't know if they're going to name it yet. It still as an invest. I don't know if it's 12Z. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. We'll see. I don't know. This is the 12Z, and it's still showing it as an invest. But we'll see. All right. Doesn't matter either way. All right. So a lot of folks curious on the Google AI, as am I, and I did pretty good last year with Milton. So now that we have a closed law, I think we've determined that the Euro AI possibly is not that good at picking up systems either, in the ensembles at least. And the Google AI has not done very good about picking up systems before they're actual systems. But once it has a system, the Google AI has a lot of valuable tools, it appears. And this is the latest. So the Google Hurricane model is kind of showing the same thing. So there's 3 confident runs of the GFS Euro, and now Google showing the ensemble suite, kind of showing you that eventual bend coming. Okay, there's a front coming down this weekend, a horizontal Canadian front that should weaken the high just a little bit. It's going to follow that. We got that disturbance there off the coast now. We have Invest 96. All this comes into play is allowing this thing to turn up. So anyway, there's the Google AI. There's 1 or 2 little obvious ensembles off to the west. So anyway, this builds the case that at this point we don't worry, unless you're Bermuda. I gotta be careful with my words. Hurricane hunters are going out tomorrow. Angel said we have a lot of hidden comments. I don't know why. Let's see. AskCat hit it right. There we go, Bobby. Okay. They did hit it. Well, let me take a look at ASCAT. You know, there's a lot of great tools. I think Weather Nerds has ASCAT data, don't they? I saw somebody share it. I don't know where I saw it. Pretty sure I thought I saw ASCAT data on here. Somebody, and then I think cyclonic weather, which I have linked up here, he's got it too, I believe. Let's see here. There's ASCAT data there, and I think there's a way to change your region right here. And there you go. Is that what you're talking about, Bobby? So there you go. So there's the latest satellite pass, and this is on cyclonicweather.x right there. But yeah, it's pretty tight. What am I looking at right here? And we got winds. Got yellow barbs. So yeah, it could be. I mean, if it could be based on this. This is real satellite passing of the winds, so that was a good passing there. Sometimes it misses it based on the curvature of the Earth, but there you go. So that, we might have Aaron, but whatever, so still doesn't change anything as far as time that we're watching this thing. All right, so we're going to lose that. All right, so what's this model? I posted this morning. Then we're going to get in all the models, I promise. So another thing that I do, is exactly, Leroy. That's right. Too early to know. Totally. Water temp's a big thing, correct? It's cool that way. Yes, cool water temp. Florence kind of did it, though. Remember, Florence rode across, it was 78 degrees. So it can happen. It just shouldn't happen, but it sometimes does. Let's see. Somebody's going to Bermuda the 18th to the 21st. Well, it would be this time next week. So definitely, Matt, you need to be watching. It would be getting close to Bermuda Monday, Tuesday next week. Sunday you might start getting outer bands, but Monday, Tuesday-ish. No microwave photos yet. I don't know. I might have actually added that. I should have a link to that. I don't know if I did or not. I will add it, though. I have it on. I just haven't. I don't know why. I thought I had it on there. Yeah, I'll do the satellite imagery. All right, so let's go to close some things out here. Let me close that. We're going to look at models here in a second. Okay, so anyway, this is individual model runs. You'll hear a lot of folks, telling you not to look at individual model runs. I do, because I do my own thing. And this was all, let's see, overnight Tuesday. So we got, basically, top left is Wednesday morning, overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. We have Wednesday, Monday morning because the KMA has a turn earlier. And then we have Sunday on the UK, but it only runs out 168 hours. So, but what this shows you is 6 models all showing a storm. So there's confidence that Aaron's going to develop into something like that. But also confidence of a turn. Now, the Euro AI is the only one trending off to the west, and I'm cautious because of two things. One, the Euro AI uses past storm data, and it plots it based on current conditions, and it's got its own database of knowledge, so it actually looks at things in the moment and makes it, and it did really good last year. So we got to really, pay attention to all the models, including the Euro AI, because it didn't do bad last year. And it's a little bit close to the East Coast. So, yeah. This cool model, my buddy Joe hooked me up with it. If you go to Mike's Weather page here, this column right here has all the cool stuff for every storm. And right here, model comparison. You click on this, and you get what I'm going to show you. And it's a cool site here that works with NOAA, real-time plotting and different stuff you can look at. One of them is, let me close this one too. I'm going to leave the ASCAT up. I might post that after the show here. There's, by the way, satellite. We already showed that. So this is a cool little tool. This is one of them, multi-model diagnostic comparison. Man, it's already 10:04. Wow. Historics, that's a good question. Someone wants to know, is there a way to track historical? God, every year they'll do a report at the end of the year which models perform the best. And I don't know about past years. I'm sure, but I don't know where. Euro usually is the king. These higher resolution models are doing a lot better though. So this is a cool tool because what it's doing is showing you GFS, HMON, H4 H, halves A, halves B, showing you intensity on the top, current track thinking on the bottom left, and then we have some other cool stuff talking about wind shear in the top right, which lower wind shear, better chances of development, sea surface temperatures, how it starts to get warmer as this thing gets over to the western Atlantic. Basically just predicts things, and then mid-level humidity, which is important on storms. It's obviously dropping down, but it's still going to be in the 40-60% range, and that's probably not bad. So none of them are really predicting it to run out of moisture, but this is a cool tool. Another cool one is this one takes into a little effect more of ensembles, where it could be at, just a basic idea. So you get that. All right, this is a cool graphic. Cantori was getting a lot of heat on this morning. Ian, you're welcome. Water temperature angel. If you want to know the water temperature angel, here's a cool tool. If you go down here to more products, right here. This one's really neat because it actually shows you that where it's at currently, and all kinds of parameters. So you can see it's right here, this little L. You can click up here at the top. You can get your current sea surface temperatures. Right now it's in the 25 Celsius range. You can look at ocean heat content. There's none right now. So, if you want to know current water vapor or stuff like that. So this is a really neat real-time. You can look at upper level winds. You can look at lower level winds. You can look at surface winds. You can look at current ASCAT. You can look at ocean sat. So a plethora of tools. So this graphic Cantori posted, man, he got some heat on there. This is just a general post, which I have a little bit more pixelated one on the bottom of the page here on my page. Same thing, same data. It's just his is a little cleaner looking. This shows you the current invest where we're at now, right here, and basically 10 to 12 days if it was going to go to coastal lower 48, and that's where we're at. See, 10 to 12. This is where it's at. All he posted was if it was going to come to the U.S., it'd be 10 to 12 days out. That's if it came to here. Cool tool, right? Kind of puts it in perspective how far away it really is. All right, I talked a lot about this yesterday. I want to address it. My goodness, I had the most stressful hour of people going on me pretty hard. If you read the words, I said, no way. This is a forecast, very unlikely to do this, just comparing the idea that things change. It said that was the whole point. At this point, when the model, we're going, we had ensembles over Florida, but we had a majority going out to sea, right? This was the Euro, the GFS was showing that. Your spaghetti plots, almost kind of where we're at today. But the point was the ensembles had a majority off to the East Coast, and people started at that time believing that the East Coast wasn't going to get Irma because of the ensemble blend, and just showing things can change. And then of course I don't even want to get into it, but that was the point. I'm allowed to make points. If talking weather offends you, then don't follow a weather page. That's all my advice is. I like what Cantori told him. He said, I'll do my post, you do yours. But that was the point. And I remember tracking Irma with everybody online. I was here every step of the way. We talked about the shifts to the west, and we talked about high pressure building in. We tracked this together. They evacuated the east coast of Florida because they believed it was going to hit the east coast of Florida. Then they had to evacuate the west coast of Florida. So models change, systems change. That's why we watch this. It's not clickbaits. I don't need the clicks. I don't need, that's the one false thing. We could retire tomorrow. and live in a motorhome in the Smoky Mountains, that I'd be just happy doing weather with my Starlink with no clicks. I like clicks, but I don't post things for clicks. That's the difference. Like, I don't think, oh, I'm going to create a scary graphic and get all kinds of people clicking. No, I do it because I thought there was context with the post. And I believe I'm allowed to, because I tracked Irma with millions of people, and we were affected too. So we watch the outliers is what I get at. All right, let's look at the individual models. All right, so here's what we got. Operational models. So here's your latest Euro on tropicaltidbits.com. I almost said climate, but that's because I was reading climate. I wanted to make sure it was 00Z. It is. All right, so here's what we got. Here's the latest Euro. I'm going to show them all. This is what we got. Here's Euro coming across, and look at this L. This is a weekend front, low pressure. It's backing, pushing our high away, and guess what? These circle low, high pressure areas. High pressure weak. Our system's going to round the edge and possibly get close to Bermuda here. Like I said, early next week. Here's Monday, and it curves. Now, how many times over the years you see storms do that? Historically, that happens a lot. Now, yeah, we have stuff coming behind it, but we can't even figure out Invest 97 yet, so we're not going to get into that. It's hurricane season. So there's that. All right, let's look at the last GFS. We're just going to look at the latest ones because we got a lot of models, and I've already went to 10 o'clock. Here's the latest GFS, getting close to Bermuda on Monday, and it curves it away. Here's the latest Canadian, and it's starting to curve it a little bit. Canadian, not one of your best tracking ones. It sniffs out systems really good, but it's got the same idea, obviously. Splitting the gap there. Latest Icon is doing almost exactly the same, I assume. I didn't even look, but yep, starting to do that turn. Little system maybe coming in behind. But no real Bermuda high building back in, so if anything is following close, the likelihood of it following the same thing will probably happen. There's the Icon. All right. Let's look at some H-Wharf modeling. It's not even there yet. Where did it go? Why is it not there? We don't have any data on. Huh? Did they rename it? Did they name it? It hasn't updated yet. I wonder why we don't have any. Huh? I haven't even looked yet. We don't have any mesoscale data on tropical tidbits. I wonder why. Sometimes that happens in a name change. Maybe it's flipping over. We'll see. Maybe they are going to do it 11. Has anybody heard? Is it going to be named 11? Oh, there we go. It's going to be named 11. So when they name a system, tropical tidbits has to adjust the names. That's why we don't see it. Yes. Yeah, Shelley just said yes. So we do have Aaron. So that's why the mesoscale models aren't there yet, because it has to adjust to the new name. So I knew that just by that. All right. We got that figured out. I don't know what else to talk about. Let's look at some ensembles. I just want to show you the Euro AI. It's definitely been trending to the west. You've heard me say this year, the Euro AI ensembles I don't think have been doing very good at all. Here's the latest 15-day, getting more in line of everyone else. So, you kind of take the average of those. If we start to see more push west, weaker goes west. Here's the deal. Some of the Euro AI is actually picking up that other little spin that I was talking about down here, right? So if we do get that intertropics convergence zone area spin up, then it could change everything. But we have a tight little low, obviously, on that ASCAP pass. So that'll be the one we watch. But there you go. So the Euro AI, a couple runs ago, the Euro AI was showing that. And, that was yesterday. Just yesterday afternoon it was showing that. So we'll just, we watch these things for changes. There's overnight. So just pointed out, Euro AI is a little bit more to the west. Cautious, but it doesn't seem like the AI modeling is doing that great in the Ensemble suite. I don't know. We didn't have these last year, so I don't know how well they did. Just this year, they're not doing very well. But the main operational run is continuing to run more west. So their 6Z Ensemble just came out, and there you go. So they only go out 90 hours, or 144 hours. And that's out to 6 days. There you go. Current dust map, Ron. Yep. I guess we can kind of look at this. This is a dusty, dry air map right here. This kind of puts it in perspective of what we're looking at with the dust. Doody, 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 doody. There, I made it. Look at that. So that's where it's at. That's an incredible amount of dry, dusty air. There's our system. Got a long road ahead. Next two names after Aaron, that's definitely a question for Shelly. She knows it. I would like to, Marie. I try to get on TikTok. They keep denying me. I don't understand. Next names are Fernand and Gabrielle. Carrie, you're late. Puerto Rico, Handy, what's up? Sam, yep, Euro AI is trending everything more west, but so we do have Tropical Storm Aaron. Breaking news, I guess. I don't like breaking news. I don't like it, breaking news. Hey, Ian. So that's it. I guess the big thing today is just the heavy rain. You know, we're going to watch for some isolated flooding today. We got Panhandle and the Carolinas. So that's the big news. We had a lot of unexpected flooding yesterday from our blob. We'll see if it bounces back. I called it the Big Bend blob currently. The Big Bend blob. How you like that? Big Bend blob. The Big Bend blob. But look at all that rain today. That's radar about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock Eastern. Hey, we'll get a cone, but it only goes out 5 or 7 days. So, but that's the big story today. A lot of rain. Could be some isolated rains we got to worry about. Hey, let's do a little fun thing here. Let's look at yesterday and look at the HRR if it showed any of these huge pockets of possibilities. Remember we talk about it's impossible to know where these pockets of rain are going to end up, but we can get a sense sometimes on the idea that we're going to have pockets of rain. And we can go back to the 10th. Let's look at last oh god, what is this one? This was 10-10. This was overnight the night before. So oh my god, look. HRR predicted that one. Oh, to the T. Look at that. What's it, 16 inches, but it did a good job. Look, we had these pockets in Pinellas. Not that this pocket hit it, but these little things is what I look at. And, you know, they're showing 5, 6, 7 inches of rain. You don't know where they're ever going to set up, but the HRR is good about that. So let's look at today and see if there's any pockets of rain showing up. Because when you see an official forecast, you're just going to see a smooth blend of rainfall estimates because they don't know where these little pockets are going to pop up. But if we look at today, there's a few little pockets here. I mean, I know it's hard to see. It looks like a little bit more into Florida. Let's just zoom in on Florida because it looks like there's more showing up there. Let's hope we can zoom in closer what we can. All right, let's look at the pockets here. And see these little pockets here, these are isolated little cells, but they're all in the 6-inch range. So yeah, see, this is kind of why we got the SPC or the WPC talking flooding, because these little pockets here could pop up anywhere. So we can still see isolated flooding a little up there again. So how you like that? What do you think about that? Let's do a shout out to Coastal Claims here. I always try to do a shout out as we say goodbye. They're out of Florida, but they cover most of the U.S. If you need any help, if you have any storm damage at all, flooding, whatever, any type of damage, they're going to be your best friends and get you a whole lot more. My neighbor across the street, they're in Milton, lost a tree, hit his house. They were going to give him $6,000, and his deductible was $6,000, and they got him like a lot more, like $20,000. So need somebody helping you out. get a little extra cash if you need any help with insurance. So they're great people too. They sponsor our NASCAR. So highly recommend them. You might have seen some of their commercials that we've done together. We only support those that support the industry, and they do a very good job. So, all right, so we'll be live tomorrow. For sure, I'll do a little afternoon video once the 12Z data comes out. If you haven't noticed my style yet, we talk in the Daily Brew about all the overnight models, and then I'm not going to do a video when we have fresh data coming out in a couple hours. So I'll do my little 90-second video about 3-4 o'clock once all the Euro ensembles run, and hope it makes sense. Hope you like the coverage. If you're new, I appreciate it. Tough year in the weather world. We have a lot of Mets dealing with ways to message and combating a lot of misinformation, and a lot of folks doing what I'm doing now, and there's just a lot of it. So I think our best road is to stay true to who we are and deal with the ones that don't like it, and hopefully you all help and nay the naysayers. Oh, we can say hi to Longo. Just for you, Lacey. We got to show Longo. Got to have pants on today. That would have been embarrassing. Where's he at? Longo, let's go say hi, Lacey. Come on. Hey, my little puppy. Oh, my God, I love this little guy. Oh, I love him so much. He's really becoming a daddy's dog. For some reason, I think me and him have connected on a level now. All right, this is Longo. Let's zoom. I'm gonna put you a little closer to the camera because you're so little that you just look how little he is compared to my face. He's going on 14 weeks now. Tracy, he's pretty small for 14 weeks, isn't he? Look how perfect his face is, though. He yawns a lot. And he's frisky. You got to see him in gremlin mode a few times. He barely makes my. You hear your brother now? What are you doing? Give me a kiss. I'll let you go. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Oh, how about a yawn? So there's Longo. Say goodbye, Longo. He'll have his own beer next year. I'm gonna talk Jim Beam into making a barrel selection called the Longo and Louis Liquor Edition. All right, we'll see y'all in the morning tomorrow for the Daily Brew. All right, have a great Monday. Sounds good to me.